Today, I want to show you how I prep the night before a shoot. I got a 2-day short film starting tomorrow, so I'm getting everything prepped now so that I don't show up unprepared. I want to walk you through exactly what I do, what I'm looking for, and exactly how I decide what gear to bring. So let's get into it. So real quick, I'm the DP for a short film, a student short film called Tough Crowd. We're filming over the next 2 days. And like many shoots, there's a lot going on. We have a whole bunch of setups, camera setups, lighting setups, and of course there's never enough time, right? So for me, prepping the night before, even prepping a couple days before the shoot is crucial and extremely beneficial because I know that I'm good to go, all my gear is ready to go, and it just helps everything run smoothly. If I'm showing up on set and nothing's ready, then I'm already behind. And if I'm behind, that means other people are behind, and that means the whole day is behind. So being prepped and prepared for your shoot is extremely important. All right, so the first thing I like to do is look at the shot list and overhead diagram. So as you can see here, this is the overhead. This is scene 1, exterior neighborhood day for Tough Crowd. I use a program called Shot Designer. I will be making a video on exactly how I create overhead diagrams and shot list. You can check that out right here if you want. But this is probably one of the most important steps because it tells me exactly what I need for the shoot. So if we look here, here is the actual shot list for scene 1. And as you can see right here, I need a drone. We got 2 shots, so tripod. This shot list was created pretty fast with me and the director. We literally just did this in the span of like a day or two. Usually it's more detailed, but for this short film, the student short film, we're running through it. But yeah, I like it because it tells me exactly what I need. So I put in there drone, tripod, wide shot, even the lens type. And then I even put in lighting and everything like that. So if we go to an interior scene, you can see right here, we got two lights right here, the 450 CLB. And then we have the 1K and the 650. So yeah, I like it because I know exactly what I need. So I go through the entire overhead and shot list, and then what I do is I write down on the back, as you can see here, everything that I need. And then I kind of just go line by line, and then I'll grab everything, put it on my cart, and make sure it's all checked off and ready to go. All right, after I go through the overhead diagram and the shot list, the first thing I like to do is prep the camera. So let's go ahead and get into the settings. I'm on the Sony FX6, so just hold the menu button. The first thing I'm looking at is the base settings. We have shooting mode. I'm keeping that at Cine EI, and then the record format. The frequency is going to be at 23.98. We're doing full frame. The codec is XAVCI, and then video format is 3840p, which is 4K. So all that looks good. And then of course we want to format the media. So that's good to go for tomorrow. Go ahead and execute that. Done. And then I like to change the clip name because, I think it's a professional thing to do. You name the clip. So if you have more than one camera, this could be A, that could be B, but we only have one camera for this, so I'm just gonna name it Tough Crowd. And then I always like to put a dash after the title prefix. And then I will reset the number back to 1. Set. And that's good to go. ISO for Cine EI, the dual native is 800 and 12,800. So that should be good there. And then the rest of this stuff is personal preference. I don't really change this much. And so the inspiration for this short film is Napoleon Dynamite. The director wants the aspect ratio to be 1.85 to 1. So right now we're on 16:9. And the way to change that is go to monitoring, and then we'll go down to marker, and then go down, and you'll see the aspect select is at 16:9. So we'll click that, go down to 1.85 by 1, and you'll know that it's changed because you'll see those little black slivers on the top and bottom. I don't know if you can see that, but It's not really that big of a difference, but that's what he wants, so that's what we're gonna put. All right, as well as changing the aspect ratio on the FX6, you also want to change the aspect ratio on your small HD monitor. So go ahead and tap the screen, then tap aspect, and then tap ratio. And then you can see right here, scroll right to 1.85 to 1. And there you go. That is it. Again, it's not a big difference. You can see the tiny black bars right here and right here. So the difference between 1.85 to 1 and 16:9 is not that different. But again, that's what my director wants, so that's what we're doing. All right, now that the camera settings are all good, I'd like to next build out the camera for how it's gonna be on set. So as you can see here, I got the MKE 600 Sennheiser microphone set up and ready to go. It's set to Phantom down here. Can't really see it, but yeah, it's set to Phantom. I also have my SDI cable plugged in and ready to go to plug into my Small HD Cine 7, which I'm using right now for this video. So the Cine 7 will be attached to my Zacuto arm right here. So that's in place, ready to go. I then also have the Anton Bauer gold mount plate that I'll attach tomorrow. I'll put the actual gold mount battery on here, and then as well as I'll put this battery in tomorrow as well. I never keep my batteries in overnight because it's just not good. You don't want to be drawing any power to anything just yet. So I have that ready. I also have the D-tap to 2-pin LEMO right here. So that will also plug into the Cine 7. Because we're using Canon cinema lenses, I'm actually gonna take this off, the Sony 12 to 24 millimeter lens, and just put the camera cap on here real quick. So not using this. I'm still gonna bring the lens just in case, because you never know. Blow it out. And we'll go ahead and put this on. Put that to the side. And yeah, and I think because most of this is on tripod, we might have some shots where we're going handheld. So what I'm gonna do is put the Zacuto dual trigger grip on so I can easily go from tripod to handheld. And it's extremely simple. The VTC plate literally just pops off right here. I'll take this piece off. That will go in my bag. And then I will put the quick release plate, this red one, I'll put onto the Sony FX6. All right. Okay, now that that's on, I need to take this handle off. So I'll unplug it. Okay. Now we can slide this. Okay. Slide that into place, we'll tighten it. And then what we'll do is we'll add the handle right here. Okay. All right, so that's in place. And then all you have to do is plug it into here. And then this plugs in right here. And then I'm just gonna Velcro this to this XLR cable. And now that's good to go. I know it seems like a lot, but it's gonna be extremely useful if we wanna go to handheld. So, okay, and after it's fully built out, I can easily place it into my Zackler Dr. 5 bag. And as you can see, it's completely built, sitting in here perfect. I can close it up, zip it up, and then once I get to set tomorrow, I just take it out and I'm ready to go. Besides the Sony FX6, I'm also bringing my drone. Scene 1A is literally a drone shot, so bringing my DJI Air 2S. I have to make sure all the batteries are charged well in advance. I need to turn it on and make sure the firmware is updated. So I'll be doing that all tonight. The average lifespan for one of these batteries is roughly 25 minutes. So you don't really have a lot of time. I just use these on set, you know, filming some real estate, and they didn't really last long, especially out here when it's hot, 106 degrees out. They're not gonna last very long. So you gotta know what you're getting, and you gotta be fast with it. So, and then I'm also bringing my wrap bag. This thing has come in handy more than once, but I figured if we're doing any kind of low shots and we wanna, you know, put the camera on something, if we don't have any Apple boxes or anything like that, I'll set it on this, and yeah, we'll make it work. All right, after my camera is built out, the next thing I'm doing is making sure all my batteries are charged. Got this one. And then I have two gold mount Anton Bauer batteries that I charge. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah. So those get charged and those get put back into the Dr. 5 bag as well. I make sure I have my color checker card, so our white balance is easy to set in post. So that's crucial. And then I'm also bringing my Peter McKinnon, the Nomadic bag. This one holds my A7S III, my two lenses, and then a whole bunch of miscellaneous stuff. I have a whole bunch of cables over here. I have a whole video on this. You can check it out right here. But yeah, I keep my cables, stingers, extra audio, filters, more batteries, quarters, screws, really everything you can think of. So this is kind of like a miscellaneous bag that I use just in case I need something. And then I also keep a couple screwdrivers and bongo ties because you never know when you're gonna need these. All right, next is lighting. And again, this all comes from the shot list and overhead diagram. I'm bringing the SmallRig 60B. This might be used to mimic practical lamps. So I'm bringing this. I'm bringing the SmallRig 350B and also the SmallRig 450B. And those are meant to mimic the light from outside. We're filming pretty much all daytime. We also have the 1K and the 650 watt. They're tungsten, so I don't necessarily know if we're gonna use those. We might use those outside to shine light in. I've never used those lights before, so I'm excited to see how that plays into how we light the scenes. So those are the main lights, and obviously I'm using two of them right now. But yeah, so the biggest thing here is to just keep everything intentional. I'm not trying to add a whole bunch of light here and there. Napoleon Dynamite was very minimal with their lighting, so that's what we're gonna try to mimic as well. And obviously with lighting comes light stands, so I have three of these. These are the SmallRig light stands. Also bringing a reflector or a bounce or diffusion, just in case. And then we're filming inside, so I recommend you have tennis balls. I always do. If you have hardwood floors or anything like that, you don't want to scratch up their floors. So I have a ton of these, and that's that. All right, I think this is something that a lot of people overlook. I try to think through problems before they happen. So for example, we're going to be filming in direct sunlight for 2 days straight. So I already know I'm bringing my C-stand and this black flag with me to protect me and the camera from direct sunlight. I'm not trying to melt, especially considering it's going to be 106 degrees tomorrow in March. So not planning for stuff like weather can definitely slow you down on set. I mean, imagine filming out in 106-degree weather for 10 hours straight. There's no way. You would probably die. And so planning for stuff like that is extremely important, not only to cover your camera and yourself, but you know, staying hydrated, taking breaks, going inside into the AC for a little bit. So just know what kind of conditions you're getting into and plan accordingly. Not only am I thinking about weather and things like that, but I'm also thinking about, oh, do we have enough extra batteries? We're filming outside, so do we need a V&D? Fortunately, the FX6 has an internal V&D, so I'm not too worried about that. You know, just little things like that, lens cloth, if your lens gets dirty, or air blower. So yeah, just really anything that could cause issues on set, you wanna plan accordingly. Okay, and then there's smaller things that are really easy to forget, like extra media cards, or not formatting them before you start, tools, gaff tape, headphones, a lot of the little things that can kind of get lost and you forget about. So what I do is I usually keep all that stuff in one of my bags. A lot of the smaller stuff like gaff tape, headphones, media cards, I keep in my A7S III bag, my B-cam bag, which I take with me no matter what. A lot of that stuff I don't lose, so I would recommend that you keep all that stuff in a bag and you just bring it with you. Even if you're only using your A-cam, like I'm only using the FX6, but I'm bringing my B-cam bag with me always because I know I keep a lot of my stuff in there. The small things are the things that save you on set when something goes wrong. And trust me, something always goes wrong. All right, as you can see here, as I go through the overhead diagram and shot list and grab each piece of equipment, I throw it here on my cart, so then I can just keep track of everything that I'm bringing with me, and then I just leave it over here overnight, and then put it in my car, and I'm ready to go. And obviously this isn't everything. I mean, I got lights set up right here, my sandbags, and a whole bunch of other stuff that I have to bring, but that's kind of how I do it. All right, so that's pretty much how I prep the night before a shoot. It's not about bringing everything, it's about bringing the stuff that you actually need. Like I said, I go through the shot list and overhead, and I write down exactly what I need. If you take the time the night prior to your shoot and go through all this kind of stuff, I promise you, the day of your shoot is gonna go a lot smoother. I hope you found some value in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. But that's gonna be it for this video. God bless, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace. I can't believe it's 106. That's sick. It's only March.